Do you want to improve your live poker and make 2025 your best year yet? Then this is exactly the video for you, because today I'm going to show you 4 quick fixes to some of the most common leaks I regularly see among ambitious players like my students. If you fix these 4 leaks, you can become a crusher at live low stakes poker. Especially the last one is so costly that I would probably be able to buy a Lamborghini from all the money I would have saved over the years if I had avoided this mistake. But this first mistake is also one that compounds over time, and most players don't even notice it. Here's an example of what I mean. You play in a 1-2 game. There is a limp and another limp. You look down at ace-jack offsuit and you raise for value to $12. The small blind, who only has $80 left, now jams. The limpers both fold. What do you do in this spot with your ace-jack offsuit? Well, it depends on what we think the small blind jamming range is. That would be the right answer. But what most players do is automatically flick in that call. The thinking goes, it's only $68 more and we have a good ace. Sure, he might have a big pocket pair, but even if we get so unlucky, I won't lose much. And this is wrong. Here's my 3-step process that I go through in this spot. First of all, I need to figure out what the equity is that we need. So in the pot, there is his $80, our $12, plus $6 from the big blind and the limpers. But let's say the limpers and the big blind pay for the rake, so that leaves $92 in the pot. We have to call $68 to win the 92 plus our 68, which totals $160. This means that we need 42.5% equity in this spot. Okay, step 2 is to figure out what range villain might jam with. This is more of an art than a science because we don't know, but let's assume he would do this with pocket 8s and better, as well as ace-king and ace-queen, and we'll also give him king-queen suited. And now, step 3 is to determine what equity our ace-jack offsuit has against that range. This is hard to do at the table, but you can do it easily off the table to train your muscle. If we plug the data into Flopzilla, we see that our equity is just 32%. But we need 42.5%, so we would be losing $17 with this call. And what if we have ace-queen offsuit? Then we'd have 38% equity, which is still not enough. Only ace-king has more equity than the minimum needed, and pocket 10s would be the weakest pocket pair to call with. So do yourself a favor and think next time before you mindlessly call small all-ins. But off to the next mistake. Here we have ace-queen offsuit in the cutoff. Early position raises to $10, the players in between fold. What would you do in this spot? If you're like most players, you'll say call. You don't feel like ace-queen is strong enough to 3-bet against an early position raise, but it feels too good to fold. But calling is a terrible option. Against a big raise of 5 big blinds and with a typical live rake structure, this call would cost you a big blind long term in GTO territory. And if you now tell me that the early position raiser is a weak player and you have a skill edge, then I would ask, then why don't you just 3-bet him? Take the initiative, put more money in with a good hand in position, and get everyone behind you to fold their non-premium hands. And this is a crucial aspect. Imagine you just call, and the button and the big blind call because they feel priced in. You are now playing a full-way pot as monkey in the middle with a hand that plays terribly multi-way. Even on a flop of ace-8 deuce, you're never comfortable if the other players put a lot of money into the pot post-flop. So if you want to level up your game quickly, eliminate almost all calls from your game in any position except for the big blind. Play a 3-bet or fold strategy as a default. The only exception is hands that play well multi-way like pocket pairs and suited aces. The third tip is not a mistake as such, but more something that you could optimize. This is something that every seasoned online player knows, but in live poker I rarely see this move at small stakes. Here's an example of a hand as it is typically played at 1-2. You open ace-jack offsuit, you really seem to like this hand, for $10 in the cutoff. Only the big blind calls. The big blind is not a great player, he is a bit on the nittier side, but not terrible either. The flop comes 8, 6, deuce, rainbow. It's not a great board for you, but you decide to continuation bet for a half pot in the hope that villain folds. But the plan doesn't work, he calls. There's now just over $40 in the middle, the turn is a king. This is a good card for your perceived range. You now bet $20 again. He calls again. The river is another deuce. Villain checks again, and you give up. Villain shows down 9-8 offsuit and wins the pot of $80. Here's how you should play against this type of opponent. On the flop, you can still make your half pot bet, that's fine. But on the turn, when the king comes, you have two options. You can either go with a half pot bet again, or you can take out the big hammer and bet $60. That's right, it's 1.5 times the pot. Your opponent will likely be confused, and when players are confused, they make mistakes. It is likely that he will now just fold his mediocre pair. And if he calls, well, then you can overbet the river again. And what if you just go half pot on the turn and he calls? Then you can take out the really big hammer on the river. There's $80 in the pot. You can now bet $200. A nitty player would basically never call such a huge bet with just a pair of eights. And if you know that you're up against a player who just can't follow the medium pair, then you don't bluff, but you still use overbets. When you have a good top pair or better, you now go for the big hammer. Either way, start using overbets to confuse your opponents at live low stakes. They will not know how to react to them. Okay, and now to my favorite one, the one that cost me the Lamborghini. But before we get to that, can I please ask you to smash that like button for me and subscribe to the channel? Thank you. Right, so this is the Limper hand. Here we raise pocket kings to $15 over a limper when we are in the small blind. The big blind calls and also the limper calls. The flop is an amazing king 7-4 with 2 diamonds. We have top set and we bet 2/3 pot. Big blind folds, but the limper calls. The turn is an offsuit 5. We now bet $70 into the pot of 105. Villain calls again. By the way, if you use my strategy from the previous point, you could overbet to something like $150 here for value. But as played, there is now $245 in the pot. The river brings in the jack of diamonds, completing the flush. It's a very annoying card. We just check now. Villain now bets $200. Looks like a gross spot, but this is actually the easiest fold in the world. Yes, we have top set. Yes, we only need to be good 31% of the time. But the thing is, we are close to 0% good in this spot. Let's rewind the hand. Villain limped into the pot, suggesting that he is passive. He called our ISO raise, he called on the flop, he called on the turn, and now he bets big on the river when the flush comes in. Could he do this with a weaker hand than ours? We can't rule it out completely, but I think that if he had a hand like the set or 2 pair, he would have been more likely to raise on the flop or the turn, because he would have been afraid of the flush. But now that the flush came in, do you think he would start betting his bottom set for a lot of money? I doubt it. Okay, so if he doesn't do this for value with a weaker hand, then what is our hand now? A bluff catcher. Yes, it was the nuts on the flop, it was the effective nuts on the turn, and now on the river it is a bluff catcher. It has been downgraded. It sucks, yes, but that's what it is. We can't magically change this. So if we want to win this pot at showdown, it means that villain has to have a bluff in this pot. If you can tell me 3 bluff hands that make sense, I'd put you forward for the Poker Nobel Prize. I can't think of a single bluff hand. So our set of kings is now a fold. And the Lamborghini mistake is to call big river bets with a bluff catcher. At live low-stakes poker, recreational players severely underbluff the river for a lot of money. Keep that in mind and act accordingly. And one day, you might get out of your own Lamborghini. But in all seriousness, if you want to take your win rate even further, then there are 3 overlooked things that you absolutely have to do. In this video here, I'll tell you what they are.